We have a great conversation coming up. We have Akanksha Singh, is a final year Master of Computer Application. Akanksha Singh, there we go, is a final year Master of Computer Application student from India. She is currently SWE intern at JP Morgan Chase & Co. And she enjoys working with Flutter and loves collaborating with other developers and designers. In addition to app development, she enjoys attending hackathons, contributing to open source, and learning about product management. She's also passionate about community building and mentoring students, and has led student communities at her university and mentored students at hackathon like Hack Harvard, Hack for Inclusion, Hack the North, Dub Hack, and Cal Hacks, and many more. When she is not coding, she can be found listening to 60s and 70s Hindi songs while painting something or brushing up on her Japanese vocabulary. And this will be moderated by our very own Sanmaya, and I will pass it over to you two.
Thank you so much, Hunter, and welcome, Akanksha. We are so glad to have you speaking with us here at our summit. And for all of our audience members, so Akanksha was the grand winner of our first ever diversity hackathon. So congratulations once again for that. So before we get started, Akanksha, why don't you tell us a bit more about yourself? I'm sure, Hunter did an amazing introduction, but is there anything you'd love to add?
Yeah, thank you, Sanmai, and thank you, Hunter, for the warm welcome. So I think my bio tells pretty much everything about me, and I'm very excited for today's talk. And
Absolutely. So to start off, for the uninitiated and for folks who are really new to hackathons and the tech world, can you tell us a bit more about, in your version, from your perspective, what a hackathon means to you and what does it offer to participants in terms of career development, propelling, and, getting to accelerated learning, you name it. So just tell a bit more about that.
Yeah, sure. So hackathon is an event where a bunch of people come together, either in teams or solo, and they work on an idea that solves a problem statement. So this problem statement is related to the themes given by the organizers, like it can be healthcare, education, diversity and inclusion, and even the problem statements can be sometimes given by organizers, or like teams have to come up with something on their own. So basically, teams work on a web or a mobile app. It can be like a software or a hardware project. And with that, they try to solve a problem and they finally present their solution in front of the judges. So that's what basically happens at a hackathon. Coming to the second part of the question, like how all this helps participants in career development and why they should actually do hackathons. So hackathons aren't just for programmers or like students studying computer science. It is for everyone who is passionate about solving real world problems and about building solutions. So a perfect team in hackathon consists of programmers who code, designers who manage and like design the app or any related work, and also business people who can pitch the idea in front of judges. So it is for everyone, and you don't have to be an expert in any of these fields, but you should be willing to devote your time in learning new things and contributing to the team. So if you are someone who is interested in any of these fields, then hackathons are a perfect place to collaborate, learn new skills, and improve on things that you already know. So you also at hackathons, you also get a chance to interact with sponsor companies where you might want to apply for internship or like a full-time job. So participants can make use of that opportunity, ask relevant questions related to hiring, and maybe pass on their resumes to sponsors. So that's really helpful. And if like the representative of the company is okay in connecting with you on LinkedIn, then you can also send them a LinkedIn request. And this way, like you can build a great network, and it will definitely help participants in the job search I have seen like people getting really good opportunities from hackathons, even like high school students. Like once, one of my teammate who was a high school student, he got an
Mhm.
internship under a Cambridge University professor who was one of
Wow.
the judges. So like yeah, he was judging, and then like my teammate approached him and asked him if he can work under like his projects because he was impressed with his work. So there is like a proper way to approach people during hackathons, which maybe I'll talk about later. And yeah, so hackathons are fun. You can learn new skills, meet new people, and have fun while building some really cool projects.
Absolutely. And, Akanksha, you dropped some really great nuggets of wisdom out there. And for me, initially when I was in my college, my first inspiration for joining a hackathon was free food. Right. So, you were getting free pizzas, and somebody told me that there's this event happening. If you go there, you'll get free pizzas, and you'll maybe meet with new folks, and you'll get to learn coding. So that's how I got introduced to my first set of hackathons, and then a suite of other hackathons followed, and then we organized Hack Friends, and now currently I'm here. So tell us more about how did you what was your exposure to your first hackathon, and how did that first initiation happen? How did you know about that? So how did that happen?
Yeah, so I did attend like some coding related events at my university, and
Mhm.
there was also like a 8 hour hackathon by Microsoft student ambassadors. But I wouldn't say like it was a very like a proper hackathon where you do a lot of other things. So my first hackathon, like I would say a proper 24 or 36-hour hackathon, was back in June 2020. Before
Okay.
that, as I said, I attended like some coding events, but like going for like in-person hackathons in 2019, like there were in-person hackathons, but because of the hostel stay permissions, and also I had no one to accompany me to those hackathons, so I couldn't join any in-person hackathons. But when the lockdown happened, so all the hackathons went online, and I thought like there was no reason to say no to them now, because
Yeah,
I can
absolutely.
work from the comfort of my home. So I participated in my first hackathon in June 2020. And since then, like I did a lot of hackathons, and got to collaborate with a lot of people because of the online mode. I was able to work with people even from different time zones. And
Hmm.
this really helped me in like building great connections, learning new skills, and I made a lot of projects that helped me in like applying to internships and even jobs. So I was able to like finish them and add them to my resume, so it helped me a lot. I wish I could attend an in-person hackathon. That's something in my bucket list. I would love to do that, and I hope I can like attend in-person hackathon this year maybe. Yeah.
Absolutely. In-person hackathons are a different ball game. Let me tell you, it's so amazing, and you get to meet so many new people. I mean, of course, virtual hackathons have their place, but then in-person comes there. All right.
Yeah.
So moving forward, so tell us more about. So you created this project. So for all of our audience, Akansha created a project called Interview Bunny, which helped in helped all of the job aspirants with AI/ML models, and gave them instant feedback for their posture, for the words they're speaking, and the speech correction and all of that. So Akansha, tell us more about that, and what was the inspiration behind the Interview Bunny? And yeah, let's hear it from the creator itself.
Yeah, so I felt like, well, like 2 years back, I wasn't really confident. Like I wasn't a confident speaker. I used to, and when the like interview preparation time came up, I thought this is also an area that I need to work on. And I actually went through some of the video interview rounds, and also like in also the online rounds were there. So there is this platform called Higher View, where
Mhm.
you have to like give a video interview, and there isn't like any interviewer there, so you just get a question and then you have to answer it and record it. So for those kind of interviews, I felt it's important to like be prepared with the questions, the type of questions that come in such rounds. You need to practice them. You need to have like a proper intro written, like how are you going to introduce yourself and how you should look straight, or like how you really need to like talk in front of the camera. So that those are the kind of things that people don't really focus that much on, and they might be able to do well in coding rounds, but HR rounds are also important. So for that reason, I felt there are a lot of like coding websites where you can practice your coding, like you can just lead code and others are there. So there should be a platform as well that can help you in preparing for such rounds, or like improving your speaking skills and things like that. So that was the main inspiration behind Interview Bunny. And because I went through those rounds, and even my friends had this problem, I used to write, like I used to give them feedback on like how their intro is or how they should answer a question. So I felt like if there can be a platform where people can answer these questions, make a video, and other people can give feedback, and on that same platform they can also find like the common questions that are asked in these companies, like Amazon asks a lot about their principles and values. So it's really important to know all these things. So that was like the main inspiration, and I don't think there are that many platforms like that. So I am
Absolutely.
kind of, I would love to like continue, and I am looking into working on that and maybe launching it someday. Yeah.
Yeah, that, and the idea was really unique in a sense that it encompasses everything in the entire pipeline, be it your posture, be it the way you're speaking, and it also in the same app it gives a glimpse into what are the values of the company are. So you don't have to scrounge through multiple different tabs looking for the same info. So that was really great, and that was one of the reasons we loved it so much. So moving forward, what would be your top tips to somebody who is maybe looking into getting into a hackathon, be it virtual or in person, for the first time? So let's say if you could have a time machine to yourself, and you could kind of teleport back yourself to June of 2020, and you had to say a couple of tips to your younger self, what would that
So in my first hackathon, I was kind of slacking off. Like I didn't start working earlier. Like it was a 24-hour hackathon, but my teammate and I started pretty late. So because we were still not sure that we should do, like we will be able to
be?
complete the project on time or not, or if our idea is good or not. So that was like we were doubtful about those things, and we were hesitant of like submitting our project. So that's something that I would like to tell my past self is to believe in your ideas, and believe in yourself. And even if the project is not complete in hackathons, it's like you should submit whatever you have done. And in my first hackathon, we actually won best all girls team award. So that really boosted our confidence, and we weren't really thinking of submitting that project, and it actually won something in that hackathon. So you should always believe in yourself and your ideas. In hackathons, you definitely learn a lot in those 24 hours, like solving problems, and working on something in 24 hours is an achievement. So you should definitely go for it.
Absolutely. That's one of the things that we say to all of our participants, that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether or not your code is complete, whether or not your IPI is very sublime or not. It just matters that you showed up, you did the work, and you kind of reached the final line. That's all that matters. And thank you so much for kind of delivering on that. So and my next question is a bit generic. So for all of the folks, so we have a lot of people, in India, most folks are from tier 2, tier 3 colleges, and who aspire, who think that, all these events are only meant for folks from the IITs and ITs and all the top tier colleges. So for them, and for somebody who is watching, for somebody in the audience who's watching from a tier 2 college and who is doubting his capabilities, that, whether or not I should, whether or not I'm cut for all these kind of events, all these, whether or not software engineering is for me. what would be your opinion to them, and how should they get started into software engineering? Because there are a plethora of languages to choose from. There are, as you mentioned, Lead Code, and HackerRank, and a million things. And there's a research, or there's a resource overhaul. There are a million things to choose from, and that creates kind of a mirage for all of the folks. They get bogged down by all these options. So how could they simplify their path, and how could they stick to the programming life or stick to coding for a longer period of time, and how should they choose their programming language? It's a long question, pardon me, but yeah.
Yeah, so basically for somebody who is just starting out, I would say if you had like computer science in your, maybe it's for somebody who is in first year. So if you already had some programming background, maybe in school, then you can pick that language and try to master that language in your first year or something. And if you had no programming background, then you are like you should be open to any programming language, and it's important to learn like one programming language. So maybe you can go ahead and master one programming language like C++, Java, or anything. You can start with anything. And then if you want to get into development, then maybe after mastering one programming language, you can look into web development or mobile app development. It totally depends on your interest as well. So you wouldn't know what you are interested in until you try that. So you should start with something, at least like maybe it can be web development. You start and do it for a month or so. See if you are able to learn things quickly, and if you are like getting some interest in building things using that technology. If you are, then you should go ahead and try to like learn more things in it. If you don't really like get interested in that field, maybe you can pick something else and start with that. So that would be something. And then maybe you can start joining some coding competitions or like hackathons. So hackathons are a really good place to find your interest. Maybe coding is not something that you are interested in. Maybe management or maybe designing is something that you might be more interested in. So because hackathons aren't only for programmers. So maybe if you are interested in designing, you can look into that, watch some tutorials, see if that's something that interests you, and maybe you can contribute to that part of the project, and you can then just continue to master that skill. So yeah, that's something, that's a way to figure out what you're interested in. When you find your interest, you can just keep working on it because that's something you want to do well in. So just keep working hard in that field, and you'll definitely succeed in tech. Like in tech, usually people think it's for programmers and all. Like there are a lot of other fields that are coming up. So there are tons of opportunities. So it's not limited to just like development or like somebody who knows DSA or something like that. So if you are good at development, do development. If you're good at one programming language and you want to go ahead and learn data structures and do well in that field, you can join that and do like coding competitions, and like you can do competitive coding and do well in that field. But there are plethora of opportunities for people in tech. It can be designing, it can be product management. There are just way too many fields. So you should explore when you are in first year, and then you can continue to master those things and do well.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Akanksha, for that wonderful explanation. So moving forward, we often see that there is a disparity in representation when it comes to tech. You could argue that, most, at least in India, we see that in most technical competitions, the female participation is way less. And of course, there are different, different programs like that are coming up to, kind of bolster and empower female coders to, kind of participate in these events. And there are female-only hackathons as well. So what would be your advice for for folks who want to take up programming, and they're scared that it's kind of a male dominated field right now. So what are the opportunities available, and what are some resources that maybe you could point out to for folks who want to make a career in coding and maybe are at the sidelines and they're deciding whether or not a career in tech is for them? So do you have something, some advice for such folks?
Yeah, so for for girls, and I can like tell you, like there are a lot of opportunities that are coming up from like big companies. There are a lot of for programs for sophomores, like STEP internship. There are a lot of good initiatives by Google and other companies as well. So if if a girl like wants to start, then they should probably join those communities. There are a lot of good communities as well, like like Women of Code, Women Tech Makers, and Women of Rewriting the Code. So there are a lot of really amazing communities that support women, that help them with different issues. Like most of the women don't, like when they start out, they are more like, it's a fact, like when women apply for jobs, like men will apply for a job if they even like match 30% of criteria, but women feel like they should match at least 90% criteria for that job, then only they will apply. So that's something that is there, and these communities help you in overcoming those things and making you feel comfortable in the field. So you should join those communities, and to start with, like yeah, these initiatives will help you in learning more about the field, and from different, you can interact with the other women in tech and see what they are doing, what their journeys were like, and maybe you can connect with them on LinkedIn and other platforms, and see if they can help you in some way. There are a lot of mentorship programs as well, so where you can get one-on-one mentorship, and your mentor can help you a lot. Having a mentor will definitely help you, so you should reach out to your seniors and people like that who have already received those like mentorship programs, opportunities, and scholarships and things like that. So that way you will get more knowledge about the field. And yeah, like you should believe in yourself, and uh, if you love programming, if you want to pursue that field, or if you want to pursue your career in tech, then you should definitely give it a try. You should find your interest, connect with more women, and just look out for all the opportunities, and never be afraid of applying, because you never know, you might get the opportunity, like you might get that scholarship that you were scared of applying to. So just taking that one step is really important. So just keep going and keep applying to those opportunities and whatever's coming on your way, and just believe in yourself. That's something
Absolutely.
I would like to tell all those girls. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you, Akanksha. So moving forward, one of the most important aspects of hackathons, or in general, making your career or progressing your career, is networking. So how do you approach that? And what's your pro tip for all the participants who are joining hackathons or any other event per se, and how they can leverage networking to their benefit to propel their career in the tech space?
Yeah, so networking is a very important part of the hackathon that I feel most of the participants kind of ignore, because they're busy working on their project and they think that's more important. I know like there's a limited amount of time, but they should use this opportunity and interact with other participants and sponsors. As I mentioned, that high school student like got internship under the Cambridge University professor. So opportunities like these will come from hackathons only. Like it's like you should interact with the participants and the sponsors. There's a proper way to do that. It's like for sponsors, in most of the hackathons, they have those sponsor channels where you can talk to sponsors, and you can ask questions about like hiring, if they are hiring or not, if they are hiring interns, and if there are any other roles open. So you can ask such questions there, and you can maybe, if they are open to your like having your resumes, then you can pass on your resume as well. And if you want to connect with the participants, so most of the times hackathons also have the networking channel where people drop their LinkedIn accounts and like other social media handles, so you can connect with other participants as well. Something that participants shouldn't do is to directly message a sponsor, because that's not a good thing. Like if they want to connect with them, they should probably connect on LinkedIn and then maybe reach out to them there. And in some hackathons, I've also seen like they maintain a resume database. So people can also submit their resume there, and then hackathon organizers pass on the resume to the sponsors. So yeah, that's something I feel everyone should do. By interacting with other participants, you can maybe collaborate with them later in other hackathons or in some other projects. So it's good to have a great network of people. It's not just like you are limited to those 3 or 4 people that you're working with on the hackathon project. You should like reach out to other people and connect with them as well.
Absolutely. So one of the important aspects of hackathon, or maybe winning winning a hackathon, is you get to showcase that on a resume, or during your interview process. So what would be some of the best ways how you can kind of pin that information, or pin all of that learning that you got from the hackathon experience into your interview process, or maybe your CV? How to do that, and how to do that effectively?
Yeah, so hackathons are something that can make you stand out in like a large crowd, because not everyone is doing it. And if you have won the hackathon, that will definitely make an impact. So most of the times, like due to time crunch, the project that people make in hackathons is just a working prototype. It's not like a full-fledged complete project. And even the code that's written, it's not is not of good quality. So something that participants can do is work on that same project later. Like if that won a hackathon, that means that it's a really nice project. Then they should definitely work on it later. And if it's something that they want to launch it, maybe if it's a mobile app, they can put it on Play Store or App Store. So this adds to your resume, gives you some extra points, obviously. And if even if they don't want to like launch it, but if it's a decent project, and they should like work on it a little bit, and like add information on their like readme about what the project does and how one can run that project, and add some screenshots of the project. So that way, like your project is complete, and now you can add it to your resume in under your project section. And for the hackathons that you want, you should definitely add them in your achievement section, and you should mention the numbers as well, because numbers are important. So you should write like won first overall position among 200 projects that were submitted. So something like this you should add in your achievement section. And something that you should keep in mind is that, because if it's a solo project, then it's totally like yours and you worked on it completely. But if it's a team project, and even if you like continue with that team and work on it after the hackathon, then in interviews you should only mention the part that you contributed to. That way you will be able to like confidently answer all the questions related to your part. And you should also, in your resume under the project section, when you mention this project, you should mention the part that you contributed to and the tech stack that you worked on. So even in my resume, like two out of the 3 projects that I have like are the ones that I made in hackathons, and I've seen a lot of other people mentioning the same projects in hackathons. So definitely in like a less time, you're able to create projects. So if you do like 2-3 hackathons, you have 2-3 projects for your resume. So yeah.
Thank you so much, Akanksha, for those nuggets of wisdom. And I'm sure that our audience have loved it and they'll take away some of these wisdom and, they'll apply it in their life and, they'll propel their technical careers. Thank you so much for speaking with us. And, we look forward to host you in the future.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sanjay, for the invite. Thank you.